I am Raj Giri, filling in tonight for Justin LaBar, joined here as always on a Wednesday by Matt Morgan and Sam Adonis. Guys, how are you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. Taking it all in.
Yeah, we had 4 weeks where NXT or Dynamite were on different nights, so they weren't head to head. Tonight, back to head to head. Sam, this is the first time you've had to watch them go at the same time. What was that like?
It was just super complicated, and I don't like it, honestly. But it's just a shame because I really want to be able to watch both products. The past few weeks I've been able to get into it and really enjoy what's going on, and having to switch back and forth made it difficult. But I think I kept up on it pretty well, and I at least have a little bit of assessment from my opinion.
Yeah. Matt, what'd you think of tonight's shows?
I thought they were both good shows, but they're my two favorite shows. So I hate having to watch them and miss some of the other while I'm doing it. But more importantly, I would like to ask, when I was on here the other night on Friday Night SmackDown, and I'm texting back and forth with Mickie James, not realizing I'm reading her text out loud, while I shut my screen off with this show, who put that up on the website and posted that? Was that you?
No, I didn't even know about this.
And Glenn's like, "Oh, breaking news on Wrestling Inc. Thanks to Matt." I'm like, "Dude, you make me look like a total stooge now." Like,
wait, what happened? I don't even know what happened.
I'm like a fifth grader where I literally read out loud when people write me stuff. And so I thought because I shut the screen off and I'm reading the text messages so I come back and share something with Glenn, if it wasn't too bad, I could, So that's why, like, when Mick Foley and Lance are talking about her shoulder injury,
right?
You're welcome, Wrestling Inc.
So what did Mickie text you? Because apparently it's come out that she wasn't injured. She was hit with a punch by Asuka or some move by Asuka. She was just selling it well, and WWE apparently thought she was.
She straight up said, "Bro, I don't know." She goes, "I don't get what just happened, and I don't know why it did."
Yeah. So apparently what happened was she sold this move from Asuka, and people in the back thought that Mickie James was knocked out on her feet because she was selling it so well. And so they ordered the referee to basically just end the match. And so they prematurely ended it. It was awkward, but it was just Mickie selling.
To show you what a good seller she is and how she was mentally fine.
Yeah.
She said, saw the video of Jax earlier. That kid's growing like she was having a normal conversation. When I'm concussed, I'm not having that conversation.
Yeah. And as soon as the referee told her to sell like you're hurt and out of it, she did, and she took it like a pro because that was a very awkward ending. But we had two crazy. I thought Dynamite tonight, very strong ending. That parking lot brawl was just insane. Sam, what were your thoughts on both shows overall?
I wish I could have seen both of them. My I love the.
I'm sorry, Sam. You broke up there for a second. What'd you say? You said I loved, and then you kind of broke up.
I loved seeing Thunder Rosa.
Oh,
she is a bright spot in the TV show. I love watching. I love that they're on with it. Her and you could almost see the competitive edge. Both of these top. It felt good. I really enjoyed Kazarian, Adam Page. That was the first time I've seen Adam Page do what he does.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of it, but that matters.
Sam, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're breaking up like every other word.
Oh.
I don't know if is that my connection? It's probably my connection.
No, it's breaking up for me too. And Sam, do you have headphones that you can plug in?
Yeah, I can get
It's his headphones. I think it's his connection.
Yeah, but I also.
But that's cool watching his first opinion of being able to see Adam Page, because I think everybody, once they watch him, because did you see Miro's opinion of him? Well, first of all, Miro's opinion of everyone in that roster was it was everybody's the best. What's he gonna say? Hey, this guy sucked. This new my new work buddy. You know what I mean? You can't say that either. But his mind was blown for every single town he saw. But,
all right, can you hear me better now?
Oh, much better.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I feel like Raj. I'm a sound snob tonight. I apologize. But like that. So Adam Page, back to him. You could see him being a big star, probably, right, Sam?
100%. He's the one. And I hate to not give other guys credit, but in my eyes, just his in-ring work, his size, his promo,
Yep.
he seems to me to be probably the most complete of the AEW original stars.
Yes.
Not saying that they don't have more complete guys that have been around and whatnot, but as far as the 10 guys that haven't been in an American stage, he has it all. I think he can be basically the ace of that division. And it was really cool watching him tear it up. And Kazarian's been going forever. He's just unbelievable.
How good does he look physically?
He's a freak. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's just still able to go out and perform at that level. So it's pretty impressive.
So, Sam, I thought he's been shaving his head, because he can't grow hair. Meanwhile, the kid grows his hair back, and I texted him. I'm like, why have you not, you had the best long hair, and I know you went through your little trials and tribulations with WWE they wanted him to cut it, whatnot, and he was with TNA. He eventually, when he left TNA, he shaved it. But you got hair like that, grow that shit. I wish I could.
He looks younger now than he did 5 years ago.
Yeah, he looks 15 years younger with that hair.
Yeah.
It took me a second. Real quick, Mike Loretta saying with the super chat saying, "Hey Matt Morgan, big fan. My question is, everyone talking about Tessa Blanchard is going to the WWE, but what about her in AEW? AEW needs her more."
Oh, there's no question AEW needs her more. Of course they do. But we get to see Charlotte versus Tessa, which I personally would kill to see. But yes, the caller. I am so old. The writer in her, no, super chatter, is correct. AEW can use her more. Yeah,
absolutely. And I always worry that WWE might take her and not use her as well as we hope. What if they?
I think because it's her name, unless they give her a name change, if they do that and they call her Bianca,
right,
or Melissa
Bianca
Page,
Nails.
Yeah, then that's a possibility. But if they stick with Blanchard as her last name, I think she's good.
Yeah. Justin Lopez noting that both shows were very tag heavy tonight.
Was that tag team? Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of tag matches. And now AEW originally they thought they were airing on a Thursday night, so I think they didn't necessarily load up the show because they didn't know which night they were going to be on.
Sam brings this up, and it's a good point. I never made the connection, and it's that they're very New Japan. Not oriented, I want to say influenced maybe, and he says, and he's right. When I wrestled there, it was 8-man tags all the time, and they're the biggest matches you can have actually. They're very, and that's maybe a tip to the cap, if you will, from the influence of Japanese wrestling.
Well, and they still also have to find their footing, because there's so much talent there, and they don't have space for all of it. They want to make sure that they're trying to get everybody an opportunity and just put their best foot forward. So that's pretty much one of the only things they're able to do. I think MJF even pointed it out in his promo tonight, but he even said everybody's in a faction, everyone's in a stable, and it's almost the same thing. You almost have to, just to give everybody that airtime. You have to keep these characters fresh and on screen. So 8-man tags and stables. Again, it's very, very similar to Japan, but I think because so many of those guys came from Japan, they see a model that works and they stick with it.
Yeah. It does seem like a lot to your point, Sam. They do these tag matches to fit a lot of people on the show, but there's not a lot of storyline progression a lot of times when you have singles guys in those tag matches as opposed to a regular tag team match.
With the Dark Order, it feels they move their stories pretty good, whether it's Colt or whether it's back to what's his name, Brody, or any of them. I think for them they progress them, but for the rest of them, not so much.
Yeah,
I still don't necessarily think every match needs a storyline. I don't think every character needs a story. I like whenever, you have 4 or 5 major ones, but then at the end of the day, the story is this guy wants to win his match and this guy doesn't want to lose.
And move up. Yeah.
Right. Up. So I don't think you always need a story with that, but just keeping guys out there and getting them seen. Again, I've mentioned before, I love the idea of just job matches, enhancement talent matches. I think that's another way to just keep your product moving and have everybody on screen.
Yeah.
I have no complaints with 8-man tags. A couple moves here, a couple moves there. It keeps the boys on TV and, makes everything progress smoothly.
A real quick, Prana Shah saying Silver's new shirt. I guess this was on Being the Elite, being John Silver.
Oh,
BJ's.
brother, I've already ordered it. How about
I don't know what that means.
So, Being the Elite is that show on YouTube, right? The Bucks have on their YouTube channel. It's called Being the Elite, BTE. So, John Silver is like the runaway hidden star of that show now. They do these Dark Order segments on that YouTube channel. And, dude, you got to watch it because this dude, John Silver, is he's so hilarious.
Who is he?
He's the shorter member, the short, jacked, masked guy in the Dark Order.
Okay.
The very short one. Shortest.
All right, yeah.
He's hilarious on this show, though. And so they made a shirt, instead of saying BTE, it says John Silver. Big John Silver.
BJS means Big John Stud to me. That's what I got out of that.
Yes.
The show opened up, so we'll start with Dynamite. The show opened up with FTR versus Jurassic Express. They had Marco Stunt in their corner. This was...
I love this. You didn't love this?
I did. No, I thought it was really good. I noticed how much Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy have been wrestling since Luchasaurus returned from his injury. It feels like they're on Dynamite almost every week.
Good.
No, I think
I like the wrestling.
I still think the Revival was probably my favorite act in all of show business at this point. Everything about them just awesome, and they're both. I love the fact that it's very few wrestlers really respect the business. Those two really respect the business and the heritage, and you can just see in some of the things they're pulling out that hasn't been seen in years. I know personally those guys would just be so happy to be working with Tully Blanchard, and it shows in their work. So
dude,
having those the talent to work with, the Jurassic Express or whatever, they're a good tag team. But I think honestly, as amazing as the Jungle Boy's moves are, I think his fire is what's going to make him a star, because that kid has fire that's hard to find right now.
And he gets sympathy. He's good at selling, actually, in a day and age where I keep hearing our younger talents don't know how to sell. He does sell, and he does know how to sell it. Now, to be fair, where the younger generation messes up is they'll go right into a move and a move and a move after move after move. But, I mean, during the heat of the match, he does a good job of taking the heat, I think. But back to your point about FTR, what he's talking about, guys, the little things. They cut the ring off every match. They keep the opponent in their corner. But the coolest thing I like is when they shoot their opponent off the ropes on their side of the ring.
Yeah,
I dig the shit out of that. That's such a small wrinkle.
And blind tags. Blind tags are basically irrelevant now in wrestling. And they just bring them back, and just the little sneakiness and using, because at the end of the day, professional wrestling, the tag team vision used to be number 2 behind the heavyweight title. If you weren't in the contention for the world championship, you got a tag team partner and went for the world tag team titles. Yes. For years, that was the second title. That's been lost somewhere in the shuffle just because of the fact that, hey, this is tag team wrestling. And it really shows that these two, they put the hard work into being a team, and it makes sense when they do what they do.
Dude, do you remember when we were kids? I'm much older than you, I apologize. But when I was a kid, we were able to watch Saturday mornings, Killer Bees, the Heart Foundation, the Bulldogs. You had so many awesome tag teams every Saturday. There were so many of them.
Stacked, man. It was just a different era, and I still think there's a market for it. I think that was such the fun of that era was the way they wrestled. It wasn't necessarily about who can do the coolest combination of moves.
No.
It was more or less the strategy that they had behind when they're tagging and what they're doing, and that just in my opinion is another lost art in professional wrestling.
Yeah, and I got to throw the Rougeau's Demolition, Tully and Arn, the Rockers, of course.
Rockers, so many. I mean, literally 20 teams at least.
Yeah.
At least.
And really, I got to say, FTR here, they just look in their element. In WWE, when you see them trying, you just know in the back of their head they're not going to get pushed. Here, you see they're trying and it's working, and they're making a difference. I think. They just come across like a real stars now for the quickly.
I think they, I mean, you can definitely tell that the company has confidence in them because I think they've opened 2 of the last 3 weeks, with long wrestling segments. If that's the first time you're tuning into AEW, you're going to see these 2 guys and you're going to see a fast-paced wrestling style that you're not going to find anywhere else. So they're awesome.
So this is also a good example of narrative and perception, because they're having amazing matches on WWE, on main event even, I'll argue. But you know why you wouldn't get as emotionally invested in them? Because you knew their glass ceiling was so low. We knew how they were going to be booked. So as a fan, you're only going to get so into them. Whereas now, when you watch this, they're not wrestling different all of a sudden, okay? Right. But you could tell they're going to get opportunities. There is no glass ceiling for them. There's no ceiling at all, it feels like. And you can see it in how they're doing promos, how they're acting, I guess you could say. And as a fan, when you watch that, is if you feel like sky's the limit. So you're going to emotionally invest in that as much as possible. Yeah,
absolutely. So the finish of the match, Jungle Boy rolling up Dax. Dax reversed into a pin of his own. Tully and Cash Wheeler both held Jungle Boy's leg down. The referee didn't see it, and they got the pin. So FTR win the match via pinfall with a little chicanery. Backstage, Alex Marvez is talking to Private Party, who are checking out Matt Hardy. Hardy was selling an attack on his knee that happened off camera. Chris Jericho had a bat in hand, suggesting that he did it, and they asked Hardy if he was okay. Him and Jake Hager walked away and said that it looks like Hardy isn't the luckiest guy in wrestling this week. So this episode was taped last week. Matt Hardy was coming off that that brutal spot off the scaffold. So clearly he's not okay to wrestle. Just the day that they filmed this. So just a way to write him off TV for this week. Next, we talked a little bit about this. Hangman Page versus Frankie Kazarian. Kenny Omega was on commentary for this match. They're doing the slow burn here. It was a long match, but I thought it was another really solid match between Page and Kazarian. Omega on commentary, basically sounding like he's in no hurry. He does not want to get back into the tag team with Omega. At the end of the match, like Kazarian looking for the leg drop. Page ducked it, hit the buckshot lariat, and got the 1-2-3. Hangman Page gets the win by pinfall. Omega after the match just walked off, just went to the back while Page was looking for him. So they're keeping the storyline kind of going. They didn't have the big violent breakup.
I don't like Page looking for him and where he went. He just got dissed hard at the end of that pay-per-view. It makes him look like a goof and a puss, no offense, wondering where his buddy is. Like, he's not your buddy. This is the chick. This is your really attractive ex-girlfriend that dumped you in front of all your boys.
Yeah.
No, have some pride, brother. Have some pride.
Yeah, we've talked in the past about this, how Page's character is probably the closest thing in wrestling, at least in AEW, to Stone Cold. Like, as far as the drinking and the not caring attitude, and seeing Stone him Cold? Being not like 20%.
Okay.
Maybe with the drinking. But you know what I mean, like just not caring, kind of the badass drinking, baby face. And yeah, seeing him worried about Omega's reaction. I see they're wanting to tell a long-term storyline here, but it did kind of make Page look slightly weak. Sam, what do you think?
I agree with Matt. I didn't see it. I don't even think I paid attention to that part. I didn't see it looking. I didn't notice. But no, I definitely agree. I mean, it does. It is. It's chasing after the girlfriend that dumped you, So I'm with you guys 100% there.
Sorry, 1 second. Jesus. My screen is locking on me. All right, there we go. Benellini with $3 super chat saying Silver will beat Brody Lee for the TNT belt.
I hope one day.
Tina Miller, $2 super chat saying tag teams are my favorite thing in AEW. Love y'all.
Tina Miller, thank you. I was trying to find you on social media to thank you. She donated to my campaign. How cool is that? Thank you, Tina.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Seriously, thank you so much.
Dustin Eck with the $20 super chat saying, watching AEW straight through since its debut, I never even bothered flipping the channel to NXT. I don't know why, because I know they're great wrestlers on NXT, but AEW has that better appeal. To be honest, I don't even go to the WWE network to watch the repeat.
Huh. I think I may do the same thing if I didn't have to watch parts of NXT for this show. I like AEW better personally. I mean, I love NXT. It's my second favorite show. But
Well, AEW has the look, the presentation, the lights, and it just looks big time, whereas NXT doesn't.
And for me, still the newness a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels like wrestling, in my opinion. I think that's, it's not just being manufactured, it's not just a TV show to introduce you to toys. It's wrestling, and that's what I like out of it.
Jackson Collins with the super chat saying AEW has the best promos. Ricky, Kingston, MJF, Jericho shows what little freedom away from 176 writers can do for these guys. Thanks, guys, for the podcast.
I mean, you've seen Kingston cut promos, obviously, right, Sam?
Oh yeah.
How freaking good is that kid? He's not a kid guy. He's amazing.
Fantastic. But again, I think they are hitting on all the levels. Some of the things that the fans were lacking that WWE has gotten away from are what's making this product work, which is the tag teams, which is great promos, So I definitely think they're hitting on all cylinders right now.
Yeah. Up next, we had MJF with Wardlow against Shawn Dean. They went for Jake as this match started. MJF hit a poke to the eye and went right into a Fujiwara armbar, and Dean immediately tapped out. So a quick showcase match for MJF, who cut a great promo at the beginning. He cut it at the end. As we mentioned earlier, he talked about how everyone seems to have a faction. Maybe he should. He said he's always been a lone wolf, but maybe it's time for him to join a wolf pack. And whether he joins somewhere or not, he's still better than you, and you know it.
I like Shawn Dean. I think Shawn Dean has got potential. So there's going to be some AEW loyalists that are going to think is this a really good way to use Shawn Dean? Have him drop out at 20 seconds? Well, no one's going to remember. I don't think they will. I don't think it hurts them. And it's a great, strong win for MJF. I mean, we really just want to hear him talk. I think he's a great worker, but I really always want to hear him talk. I love his promos.
All right. Sam?
Yeah, I agree with Matt there. He's Roddy Piper. He's the guy that, 90% of his business is done on a microphone. He doesn't need to go out and have a 5-star classic. He does, but, I just like the way that, like Matt said, we want to hear him talk. So the faster we can get to that, let's do it.
Yeah. And Sam, to your point, when you were talking about enhancement talents earlier, sometimes that's better. If you're building a monster like in Brian Cage, you don't want him to then go out and have a 20-minute match with, someone a lot smaller than him.
Well, I always say, I look at it, especially now with this AEW Dark and how many wrestlers would, cut off their left pinky to get a job. That's the perfect opportunity to give guys a tryouts and keep every one of your stars strong. I think they have 87 or 88 people under contract. And I think we mentioned last week, it's one thing to have 87 wrestlers. It's another thing to have 87 guys that are over. And, when you do that, when you have the enhancement talent, you can a lot of times have guys that really, really,
Sam,
connect with the audience. So
they have over 80 talents signed?
Over 80, yeah.
I didn't know that. Holy crap.
Yeah. It's the new WCW, man.
Awesome.
Hopefully it does well, though. Hopefully it doesn't go the other way. I was a personal huge WCW fan, especially now. Now in hindsight, I look back and what the hell? It was so much better.
We had it so good.
Yep.
No, man, 96 to 98 and late 80s
good.
WCW was just awesome.
All of it.
So then we went to a vignette of Taz breaking down some of Ricky Stark's moves in the ring. I don't know if you guys watch golf. I don't think you do, Matt, but they kind of do this with swings a lot on golf. So that's seemed like that's where they got the idea from. Eddie Kingston was in the ring with Penta, Phoenix, Butcher, and Blade. He said he had 3 points to make. He never lost the Casino Battle Royale. His group is a family. They're not a faction, and they are a family of violence. And Kingston asked them to find some victims. They grabbed some guys from ringside, just beat them up. Kingston was just mocking him as they were thrashing them. And he said they got their things in order, and he told Blade he needs to get his own house in order. So I'm guessing that's referring to Allie, even though they haven't really done that storyline on TV in months.
It would just make sense to add a girl to the stable, so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of not really doing anything.
Right.
Exactly.
It adds to the picture, adds to the package.
Yeah. She's involved with the Nightmare family, but
It doesn't work for me. No one likes it. Yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but Tim Mickles is asking, Matt, when did you start in politics and why? What are your thoughts on Candace Owen? I think she's great, by the way. We don't want to talk too much about politics, but
yeah, Candace Owen. That's DJ from Full House, right? Candace Owen.
Sadly, I know that it's Candace Cameron.
I know. I'm just being silly here.
But love Candace Owens. Love her, Tim. Yeah.
I am Error with the $2 super chat saying Kingston's cookie promo was gold on BTE.
Yes, it was. Go watch it, guys. It's hilarious.
Kingston can't cut a bad promo. He's just such.
They were mocking promo class from WWE when they started off the BTE episode on YouTube, and they said, "Here's a cookie. Cut a promo on this cookie," trying to be funny and cute. And he cut a freaking hilarious promo on the cookie for what it's worth. He's good. He's so good.
I mean, there's a lot of good promos in WWE that aren't necessarily utilized to their fullest. Jey Uso, like this past Friday on SmackDown, he's such a good promo, but the lines they're giving him, he called Corbin and Sheamus, he called him butt mud or something like that, and it was just like,
you know he's not saying those words in real life. Yeah,
right? Who says those words in real life?
No.
What adult says those words in real life? So anyway, you got to get rid of those scripts, man. Next, we had Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Private Party. Another competitive match, back and forth. Jericho last week saying that they have their eyes on the tag team titles. The end saw Cassidy going to the top. Jericho hit him with the Judas effect, got the cover, 1, 2, 3. Jericho and Hager win by pinfall. After the match, they beat up the Private Party some more. Jericho put Cassidy in the walls of Jericho. Quinn got in the ring, cracked Jericho with the Pele kick to break it up, but Hager pulled Jericho to safety. So they're going with Jericho and Hager as a tag team. We were talking about bringing tag teams back earlier, but do you think Jericho is probably better utilized in a singles feud?
I real quick, what Sam said earlier was right on point. He said about how back in the day, how if you weren't in a singles feud and you weren't trying to go after that world title, you were desperately trying to be a world tag team champ.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what Jericho's doing? I mean, isn't that a good thing?
He just needs a transition, I think. I mean, he did his job and got Orange Cassidy over on the next level. Right. I think it's probably just something different. If you can make two guys instead of one, he's going to do it, and just watching these matches, you can see how selfless he is. You can tell he still loves it. Every second of being in the business. He goes out there and puts 20 minutes in and then spends 3/4 of the match in the ring. He's a 1,000% professional, and I think he knows what he's doing. That's all you can say.
Yeah. Michael Larita asking both of you guys. I'll go to you, Sam, first. If you had to choose between AEW and WWE, what company would you work for?
I couldn't even answer that question, Lodge.
Sam, go ahead, Sam. It's great being retired.
I think NWA TNA is going to be the one there.
and Matt, I don't even think we have to ask, but go ahead.
AEW. Just because I think you'd have a better opportunity to be yourself. I do believe that.
Yeah,
maybe.
But then I don't really know the answer because my brother is very successful at one of them, and the other one is, a little bit more up my alley of pro wrestling. So I don't know. I don't think about it. I just work my ass off every time I get to wrestle, and hopefully one of them gives me a call one of these days.
Yeah.
Well, they both should.
Up next, we had Thunder Rosa defending the NWA NWA Women's World Championship against Ivelisse, who had Diamante in her corner. Kind of a shorter match. The end saw Thunder Rosa fire back, hit a tombstone pile driver on Ivelisse for the pin. So we had an NWA title defense on AEW television.
Yeah, I like this. I have no problem with this. For anyone, I don't know what they could say negative about this, except, they're beating AEW talent. No disrespect. Thunder Rosa's more over. I believe she's a bigger star. And unless like she's going over on, let's say, give me some of the bigger name talents in the female women's division, Raj.
In
AEW.
AEW?
Yeah.
Nyla Rose.
Okay, there we go. Her going over on Nyla Rose?
Right.
I don't know. But tonight was fine. Even though I love Ivelisse. And I think she's incredibly underutilized.
Sam?
Yeah, I think it was great having her on there. I love watching her work every week. I just think she brings something different, but I don't think they're doing it right, because they're keeping everybody in the fold. They're acknowledging that it's a different title, and it's no different than boxing having the IBF or the IBO World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
When you do that, you can acknowledge that the NWA Women's Championship is a great title. It doesn't mean it's better or worse than AEW's title, but holy shit, we're going to see a champion versus champion eventually. It's I think it's cool.
Yeah, so the deal with Thunder Rosa was originally only for, I believe maybe it was just these 2 dates. I think it was first for the match against Shida at the pay-per-view, and maybe this was just a way to thank the NWA by giving them a showcase on their show. I'm not sure, but this as of now, this isn't a long-term deal, but we'll see.
She's doing a job. She's getting over. So, you don't listen to, you don't do what you want. You do what the people ask you to do usually. So we'll see how it goes.
I feel like her star went up a lot in these last few weeks. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Justin Lopez with the super chat saying, after seeing this match, I can't believe WWE wanted Thunder Rosa as a ref. And that is true. She had a contract offer from WWE to go in as a referee. And, luckily, she didn't take it, and
there's the answer to my question. I want to be a ref for WWE. I would have that job for like 55 years, retire nice. That's my answer, guys. Right?
You're way too big, dude. Way too big. Way too big.
Damn, can't win.
We saw a backstage segment where Miro was just lifting a ton of weights. He was with Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. Sabian said that once they get in the ring, they're going to be unstoppable. Miro hopped up saying he wants to get in the ring, but Sabian's telling him that he has to plan his bachelor party since he's the best man. So, Miro not wrestling yet.
I don't know. Am I overthinking it? I don't like the attachment to Kip Sabian.
It brings him down, I think.
I agree.
Yes! I didn't want to be the... Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. I didn't mean to say that. I just it made such a big deal. I don't know anything about it. I know Kip's a great guy. He's a hell of a talent. I don't think he's main event guy. And it feels like now Miro's in a mid-card angle without, I think he came in hot. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought if he cut that same promo but by himself as opposed to attached to a comedy skit with Kip Sabian last week, I think it would have been more effective in my opinion.
But then again, the good thing is they could have the potential to make Kip a top star, so it could go either way. I just think it's one thing. I think Kip's a little bit fresh to the audience, so all we can do is wait and see where it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see where it goes. But Miro obviously seems really happy being there, judging from
you think
the Twitch account. Yeah, the Twitches he's been
Sam,
doing.
when you get a chance, you've got to go see it. I don't know if you saw it.
What's that?
Miro's Twitch of his reaction to all the different talents there. You have to watch it. Watch it.
Up next, we had a Jake Roberts promo with Lance Archer. They cut a promo. They're going to be in a 6-man tag next week. It's going to be Lance Archer and 2 partners against Jon Moxley and 2 partners. Jake Roberts agreed to align with Taz for the time being. Taz came to the rings, and so it's going to be Brian Cage and Ricky Starks teaming up with Archer. Jon Moxley came out, and in the crowd, we had Ricky Starks and Brian Cage in disguise. They beat up Moxley, and then out came... I'm forgetting Will Hobbs. So Will Hobbs made the save, and then Moxley took the mic, said Will Hobbs is going to be his tag partner, and then also said he's making the call to Darby Allin. So there you have it. Next week it'll be Moxley, Darby Allin, and Will Hobbs against Cage, Starks, and Lance Archer.
So I like this for Hobbs, right? I do. I just got done saying that loss to MJF really shouldn't hurt him. But because it was in the same episode, do you guys think this does?
That was a different guy. That wasn't the same wrestler. Will Hobbs was the one. He was always on Dark and stuff.
Yeah, he was just in the casino battle
Who did
royale.
they have tap out in 2 seconds?
Something Dean.
Yeah.
Dean. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yes,
different
yes,
guy.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Will
just
Hobbs is a
I'm just
beast.
happy for Will. Yeah, Will's one of the nicest guys you ever meet. He worked his ass off. He deserves everything he gets. I'm just happy to see him, being taken seriously. And now not only just to go from being a guy that's, trying to get a job to being in a main event angle. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
He's
he did
regular. Go ahead.
I was just saying it came out today that he did sign a contract too with AEW.
Good.
So
You
he's
should sign him. That's great, but he's great potential.
Okay. And so that'll be so signing Will Hobbs and using him right away in a big angle, getting his name out there. So that was pretty cool. After that, we had they revealed next week's lineup. It was that 6-man tag I mentioned. Brody Lee is going to defend the TNT Championship against Orange Cassidy. That should be interesting. Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa will take on Diamante and Ivelisse. So Thunder Rosa is still still working, yeah. And Chris Jericho will be appearing live. And then finally we had... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nothing.
And then finally we had the Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz in a parking lot fight. They showed up in the back. There were cars surrounded by them. And this match was just crazy. I mean, trying to put Ortiz on the engine, slammed the hood down on him a bunch. There was broken glass. Trent's back was just bloodied to hell. I mean, this was one of the wilder matches I've seen on free TV. Sam, what were your thoughts on the main event?
It was just everything it needed to be. Again, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It was free TV. That probably could have been, in my opinion, a pay-per-view match. But then again, I don't know where the logic lies, whether they're just trying to spike ratings, be the better show. I don't know, but it was awesome, man. They did a great job.
Matt, what did you think?
They worked their ass off. I'll just leave it at that. They worked very hard, very, very hard. It's hard for me to get past the storyline itself. It is, because every time I start doing it, I'm like, damn, God, when I'm watching them do all this different stuff out there and taking the different bumps they're taking. And then this was started because of the dude's mom driving into the arena. Am I overthinking it? Probably.
No, I I agree. It's like when Bret Hart was feuding with Jean-Pierre Lafitte over stealing his jacket. It just, when that's the feud, it doesn't really resonate.
I missed it all starting. I didn't see when that happened, so I'm glad I don't have a frame of reference.
But yeah, I mean, crazy wild match. It'll be interesting to see with the ratings, because I wonder if when they announced that was the main event, if people might have turned away just because those guys aren't really top established. Yeah, I mean, yes. Or if they stuck around as soon as they saw the beginning, they got sucked in and stayed with it. So
I think they clicked over to NXT during this. I'll be honest.
Yeah, as soon as they announced it earlier in the night that it was the main event, I had the feeling they might switch to NXT, but. We'll see. But the end of the match, I mean, Santana and Ortiz were just beating the hell out of these guys.
Yes.
I mean, it was brutal. This was one of the more
brutal.
One of the more brutal matches I saw.
This is insanely physical. Of course, his back was oof.
Yeah. Oof. So while they're beating on him, a trunk pops open. Out came Orange Cassidy. He hit the orange punch with the steel chain wrapped around his fist on Santana. Taylor hit a pile driver on the hood on Ortiz. Trent planted Ortiz through a sheet of wood into a truck bed and got the cover. 1, 2, 3. So in the end, the baby faces get their revenge for Santana Ortiz disrespecting his mom's truck.
Yep.
Kamora, the super chat. Michael Loretta saying Will Hobbs reminds me of Ahmed Johnson. Hey, Will Hobbs is a big guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's a match on YouTube. If anybody wants to see Sam Adonis against Will Hobbs, give it a YouTube. It's on right now. So, Matt,
I'll check
San
it
Francisco. Out. Yeah, let me know what you think. We can do a podcast review of that match as well.
Okay.
How long has Hobbs been wrestling? He's been around a while now, right?
He's been around for a long while, but dude, he's just one of these guys. Northern California is kind of a hidden territory, if you will. There's not a lot of exposure. You know, they have really great companies and talent out the backside, but you know, a lot of the American companies are in pockets. You know, the Northeast is big, the Midwest is big, and unless you're working on those shows, you know, you might not be exposed to an internet audience. So Will Hobbs has been ready for a long time, but you know, he's finally just, you know, if you stick with something long enough, you get what you want, and I'm glad for him.
Yeah, he's been wrestling since 2009, so and that's great. Finally, getting to sign with a major promotion. John Cena's ball spot saying he woke up just in time to watch AEW and NXT after falling asleep during Raw. Wish they'd move NXT to Tuesday permanently so we could enjoy both equally. Amen.
Me too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But so they're probably not going to, because the main objective of NXT is not necessarily to grow that brand, but it's to stunt AEW's growth.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Buddy Barlow with the $5 super chat saying, Hobbs started out as Dark Enhancement. He's now signed, and he's in an angle with some of the biggest stars on the show. Get yourself over, folks. It works. So, yeah, he'd worked a bunch of matches on Dark, and now here he is. All right, so now we move on to NXT. NXT also opened up with a bang. This was hard because both shows opened up with really strong matches. On NXT, they had Io Shirai versus Shotzi Blackheart. I thought this was Shotzi's best match yet. She looked just awesome. In the end, Io Shirai hit the over-the-moon moonsault on Shotzi to get the win. Sam, I'll go to you first. What do you think?
I feel bad because the revival was on AEW, and I just didn't turn it over to NXT at all. I really like Dash and Scott, so I missed that. I didn't see any of it, but the commentators made it sound awesome, so I'll believe them.
It was tough. This was tough. This was tough, like you said, to take your eyes off AEW. I caught parts of it, but I'm not going to pretend I was emotionally invested in it. Yeah. Not because anything bad they did, just because I was watching the tag match more, I felt. But I saw all the moves they hit and all that other stuff. So, Shotzi, this was the best she's looked, I thought, yes. In an actual match. Here with NXT, at least, yes.
Yeah.
But I got to watch it again, honestly.
Yeah, I even tweeted out after the match was over that I'm going to have to go back and watch that over again because it looked great, but like you guys, my attention was turned on FTR.
Yep.
Oh, I did forget something at the end of AEW. At the end, they left Chicken Raj. I admitted the middle finger mom part. No, at the end, Trent with his bloody back gets in his mom's car. So did Taylor, and then his mom stuck her finger out, giving Santana Ortiz the finger. So. And Neo Kira bringing that up to Sue with that middle finger. It was gold.
Is she signed?
The mom?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it was just for this feud. And Michael Laredo saying FTR are the best tag team in wrestling.
Hell yeah.
Do you think?
I mean, the Usos, I think, could give them a run for their money when they're healthy. But, yeah, FTR, they're amazing. And then I'm sure a lot of people would say the Bucks as well.
I would.
Yeah.
NXT.
Yeah. After that match, we had Desmond Troy versus Tommaso Ciampa. Basically a scrub match. Ciampa came out with the mask. Back to being just a crazy badass heel. He just destroyed Troy. Yep. And hit the Willow's Bell, draping DDT from the second rope, and got the win.
Showcase match. Just to show what one of their biggest stars could do. I like this.
It was short and sweet. He was able to keep his intensity, so it got the point across.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like this was one of those cases where a short and sweet match works way better for his character, where his character is right now, than something long and drawn out.
For so many characters, I would say, this could work. This is an example of just getting a talent enhancement match.
Mm-hmm.
I say it every week, man.
Yep.
Yeah. After the match, Jake Atlas came out. He came out on the stage. Ciampa took a seat in the middle of the ring with a steel chair. Atlas addressed his recent attack and said he's going to show Ciampa how dangerous he can be, as Ciampa smiled. They showed Drake Maverick arriving in the building earlier. He was asked about teaming with Killian Dane. He said he's a bit nervous, but he's confident in how everything will go. And even though Dane attacked him last week, which, anyway.
Yeah.
Austin Theory versus Kushida. Kushida was back, came out, no music, just destroyed Austin Theory. Definitely seems like Austin Theory is not in the plans right now. He was on the main roster, competed at WrestleMania, and then was gone a couple months ago, and then brought back to NXT.
It happens.
Yep. So, yeah, Kushida, kind of another almost like a squash, but he got the hoverboard lock, and Theory tapped out.
Sure. This was a very basic, very one-way match.
It must
needed to be.
It must have been short because I didn't even know this match happened.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that was in between channel changes for me.
Yep.
Steezy Preezy saying AEW tonight reminded me of how cool wrestling can be. The page and main event had me at the edge of my seat.
Yep.
All right. Up next, Breezango versus Imperium for the NXT Tag Team Championships. In WWE, we were talking about tag teams earlier. The tag team divisions on all the brands are hurting. I mean, you hardly have any tag teams on NXT right now. You got them and...
AEW's tag is good.
Yeah, no, I'm talking on WWE. Between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, each brand. They're all very shallow with their tag team division.
This match was probably the most excitement I saw while on NXT tonight. I just absolutely love Imperium. They're both good kids, and they work their asses off. And it's great because it almost seems like Johnny Curtis and Tyler Breeze have a little bit more of a pep in their step. It feels like since they won the titles on NXT, they're really pulling it all out.
Like reborn, yeah.
Yeah, so no, I mean, I didn't see the whole thing, but I mean, I saw the last 5 minutes, and they worked their asses off. So hats off to both teams.
Yep.
Do you think they should keep the Breezango gimmick going?
I don't really know. Again, it's not as cut and dry as it used to be. Like, I don't know what the gimmick is. I haven't seen enough of the angles or the promos and stuff. To me, it's just a tag team of Fandango and Tyler Breeze. I never saw that the characters that they're playing out because I've never seen the backstories.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
They're both great wrestlers, so I mean they accent each other well. I think they have a good chemistry. So, I mean, if it's not hurting anything, don't fix it.
Yeah. Tina Miller with the super chat saying she'd like to see Penelope Ford branch out on her own. I like her.
Yes.
Tag you on Twitter, Matt. Keep up the great work down here.
Thank you very much. She's right though. Penelope Ford's a friggin' star. Star.
Yeah, I agree. Her time will come.
Yes, it will.
Bobby Burns with the super chat saying the Sue appearance is going to spike up the ratings. It'll be interesting. No big competition this week from basketball. This was the first week in a long time, so it'll be interesting to see where they're at. Up next, we had Xia Li and Jesse Kamia versus Caden Cater and Casey Cat. I always butcher her name. Catanzaro.
Anyways, NBA ratings are down too, though. Keep that in mind.
Right.
So I point that out.
Yeah. I mean, but that the past few weeks they thought like AEW would get 1 million 2 weeks ago. They didn't quite. They hit it was like 900,000 last week. They did top 1 million, but now they got head-to-head competition. So we'll see. But Casey and Caden Carter getting the win after they pinned Xia Li.
I love Caden Carter. I do. I think she looks so different. Like she gives you for me when I watch, back in the day when you used to be able to watch wrestling, you could watch these wrestlers and you can know everything about their character a lot by like how they dressed. She just looks so much different. Like, I don't know. Your eyes stay on her.
I thought that Xia Li had the coolest entrance of anybody tonight on both shows.
Dope.
She looked cool. She's just fun to watch. I didn't see enough of the match, but I know she looked like my eyes were glued to her when she came out to the ring, and I was really interested in that.
Cool entrance, you're right.
And I don't know how much of Casey you've seen, Sam, but she can do some crazy stuff. She was on American Ninja Warrior. She can do just some of the craziest stuff.
I know she's my niece's favorite wrestler, so that's about all I know about her.
Yeah. So I think, so she's getting a win. Looks like they might be, giving her a little chance to shine as well. So I like that team, Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. Finally, we had the Undisputed Era versus Killian Dane. Back from the break, there was a pre-recorded video from Tegan Knox. She talked about Candice LeRae's previous comments about with Johnny Gargano. I didn't really pay attention to this. I don't know if you guys did.
Missed it completely.
Nope.
All right. Finally, at the end, we got the Undisputed Era versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. And this was a pretty long match. Oh, I'm sorry. This was not the last match, but this was towards the end. At the end, Fish ran in with the chair. He hit Killian Dane, and the referee called for a disqualification. So Killian Dane and Drake Maverick getting the win via DQ. I think this is the first time we've had a DQ on NXT. I can't remember the last time.
I don't remember finishes. I just don't. Even the week before, I'll forget.
Yeah.
How do you remember that? How do you know that?
I'm just trying to think of. I can't remember any time ever seeing it. Yeah. I don't know. I pay attention to that kind of stuff. All right, Sam, you're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, press the button on my phone.
Gotcha. So what do you think of the Undisputed Era versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick?
I didn't see any of that part either. I'm sorry. I forget what was going up against, but I was really uncomfortable all night tonight having to switch back and forth because I couldn't invest in either. I was doing my best, like I said, and this is coming from me that hasn't watched much, current wrestling in years. So to try to keep up with it, I almost admire the fans that go that far and to watch both episodes every week. It takes a lot of work. So I missed that as well.
John Cena's ball spot asking if we would like to see AOP go to AEW.
I don't know who AOP is.
Matt?
I don't care.
I think they're two big dudes. I think they'd be kind of cool in New Japan, honestly. But we'll see. Now we lost that. Krana Shah saying looks like half of Undisputed Era is babyface with Cole and O'Reilly. Stephen Marchichuli saying, would you book Finn long-term champ or placeholder for Cross? Is Cross versus Brock major money?
Yes.
What do you think? Karrion Kross versus Brock Lesnar?
100%, just because they're both legitimate badasses. Cross has a very big MMA and martial arts background. That would be a very, very interesting UFC fight. So, of course, in the realm of pro wrestling, it would be big, big, big money.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back here. And so next we went up to we went and we saw Timothy Thatcher versus Damian Priest in the main event. I'm sorry. After that match, Killian Dane decked Drake Maverick, who was celebrating with Dane. So that continues. Backstage in the parking lot, Tommaso Ciampa unloaded on Jake Atlas, beat him up, and that was that. Finally, Timothy Thatcher versus Damian Priest in the main event. They went back and forth. This was a really hard-hitting match. The end of the match saw Priest go to the top rope and hit a spinning heel kick, and then he nailed the Reckoning for the pin to retain the NXT North American Championship. So your winner, Damian Priest. And
I really wish I could have seen more of that one. I was flipping back and forth as much as I could for that and the final match on AEW. But those guys, I love Timothy Thatcher. I think that's just a different a character that we don't see that much anymore. Just the rugged, badass wrestler. You don't see too much of that. So I love watching him any chance I can. And Damian Priest, he's definitely got a fun character and he's talented as can be. So I can imagine they had some great chemistry. I just really wish I could have seen the whole thing.
Right. All right. So that was it for both shows. Sam, your thoughts on? I know you kind of said it before, but your thoughts on watching both at the same time? Well, I guess you were switching back and forth.
Yeah, it was just very hard for me. I feel like if we weren't live, even if our podcast was a little bit later, if we could do a tape delay or even the hour overlap would have been nice. If one started at 7 to 9, the other one 8 to 11, that would be great. But again, who are we to make those decisions? It's just it's just nice to know that there's that much good talent on TV right now. Both brands.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah. Krana bringing up that I forgot to mention that. Oh yeah, Kyle O'Reilly showed up with officials making the save to Champa. So there was that. Matt, did you have any thoughts on the NXT main event? Timothy Thatcher versus Damian Priest and Priest retaining.
No, I agree with that. The outcome, obviously. Priest has potential to be a big star for them, I think.
Absolutely. So there you have it. A couple other things, a couple other news items that we got. Wade Barrett, he is now a regular member of the NXT commentary team. He signed a 1-year contract, and he's the contract is for him to do commentary. So
what is going on with NWA? Are they just done?
No, I mean they're not done. They're doing a weekly pay-per-view on Fight TV right now called Primetime Live on Tuesday nights. Nick Aldis last night defended against Mike Bennett. So they're doing this show for the time being until things open up, I guess.
Why are they not doing what these other shows are doing? They were doing so well, I thought. I love that show.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they come back. But
I love the whole throwback feel to it. It was so cool. The promo desk after matches, before match, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
WWE Raw viewership. Actually, they did a low rating with 1.69 million viewers on the USA Network. It was only down 2% from last week. And this was against the NFL season opener, which had a double header. So they had super strong competition. Only down 2%. Yeah, right. And the Broncos didn't do that great. But only down 2%, and they were actually up in the 18 to 49 demo from last week. So they actually, I don't know if this is the sign that this is kind of their core, their base now, and they're not going to go much lower than this. But not a big drop. Like last year, they dropped 15% when the NFL started. So not bad yet.
Wrestling fans are die-hard loyalists. So
yeah,
I think a lot of them just choose wrestling over football.
Yeah,
I do.
This is the first year where the 1849 demo went up against the opener, so it's good job for them for doing that. And then we talked about Mickie James. So that was just a case of her selling, and WWE officials in the back thought she was knocked out on her feet and called for the match to end, but she was actually fine. So it just caused an awkward moment, but everything's all good. All right. Great insight, guys.
We've already talked about that.
I didn't see any of it. I have no insight on it. Believe it or not,
Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant at WrestleMania.
I have that on VHS.
That was a great moment. I could talk about that for the next 15 minutes.
You'd be like, no shit, Matt. Everyone knows that. We all saw it.
All right, guys. Well, Sam, do you have anything you want to plug?
This coming Saturday, I'll be in Chicago at Marion Catholic High School for Warrior Wrestling. I'm taking on Impact Wrestling's Jake something, and it's going to be awesome. Warrior Wrestling always raises money for this high school. They're doing really good stuff. They're making sure it's COVID compliant. They're the trendsetters as far as actually having big crowds at wrestling shows again. So anybody in the Chicago area, please come out and support independent pro wrestling, and come say hi if you get a chance.
Yeah.
Buy his merch.
The last Warrior Wrestling show, Tessa Blanchard had returned and lost the title to Kylie Ray last weekend.
Yeah, it was last weekend. So they're doing 3 shows, one last weekend, one this weekend, and one next weekend, and it's all part of their end of the year fundraising system. So it's going to be cool.
All right, Matt, did you have anything?
Nope.
All right, great. Well, for the Wrestling Podcast, I'm Raj Giri. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you again this Friday for the SmackDown review. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Hang on, you're still live. You're still live, pal.
There we go.
Forever.